Hi y'all, hi everybody, it's Kimberly here. I have a story time for you today. It's about when I was young, back in the 80s. Actually, a footnote to this first. When I was in high school, the drinking age was 18. When you, in Texas, different states had different drinking ages before this federal 21 law. So you could be legal in one state and go to another state and you wouldn't be legal. They could each state determine their own drinking age. And at the time when I was in high school, it was 18. And they would literally they would give a announcement over the loudspeaker that on the football nights, they would tell the football players, or the night before a game, remember, no drinking, you're going to have a game tomorrow, don't drink. So that was kind of crazy, bizarre. And then also, you could smoke when I was in high school. You were legal to smoke on the grounds, on the campus. And they had an area designated for you. I don't know how it was in other schools, but back then, it was, they didn't take it so serious, and they allowed it, and they had a designated area. I just wanted to add that in. The smoking thing doesn't matter, but the drinking age, yeah, when I was younger in high school, it was 18. And then when I graduated, I think the year that I graduated, maybe, it turned to 19. I might have been in a senior in high school. I can't remember if it was a year that I graduated or a year after. I don't remember, but this is probably about a year after I graduated high school. I went to a club and with my friend. I don't want to say who it is because they are married, they have kids, and they're married into some kind of family with business. I don't know. And anyway, we went to this club, and before that, I had drank about a half a beer before I went. It was like about 7 o'clock at night. Then when we went to the club, and we saw people there we knew, and I was driving, and my friend was, actually it was a friend. I don't want to say, I'm just going to say it was a friend. I'm not going to say, but this person was a real manipulator, and she would find a guy at the club, and she would, or anywhere we went, she would find a guy, manipulate him, and indoctrinate him into her sociopathic world or whatever. She could do it in a matter of hours, and she did it numerous times. And she ran off, and she found this guy who was she was still in high school. I think she was a senior in high school. She was like about a year or so younger than me. And he was in college, found him, did her thing, and within 2 hours, this guy was like so taken by her. And I didn't have a purse, I didn't have any pockets on what I was wearing, and I had given my keys to her. She put them in her pocket, and in the town I lived in, they had this program where they would give you a free ride home if you were drunk. It was like some kind of drunk taxi ride thing that they would do, and we'd been there all night long listening to the music and talking, and it was different. The dance clubs were different then. It was, the 80s music and everything, and it was like a huge nightclub, one of the biggest ones in the city, and everybody was there, lots of people that we knew from all different schools, and I got bored, and she was over there doing her thing, and I talked to some people, and then I just wanted to go home. I think I drank like another drink. They had nickel beer and drinks back then. I don't know if they still do. I don't go out. Excuse me. I've been eating these things. I'm an old lady. I don't go out. I don't drink. I don't do nothing. I'm just very boring. I had fun when I was young, but not anymore. Very boring. And she got this guy, brainwashed him, and then she had given my keys to this guy, and I didn't know that. And they talked amongst themselves that they came up with this plan. They were going to take my car so they could go out and do whatever they were going to do. And they were going to send me home in that two drunk taxi thing. And mind you, I had one, like, not even a full beer at like 7 o'clock at night. And then about an hour and a half later, I think I had about half of I don't know if it was a beer or mixed drink. I can't remember. But by this time, it was about 11, 10, 10:30 or 11, almost midnight or something. I'd say between 10:30 and midnight. I don't remember exactly the hours. And she came up to me. We went into the bathroom, and while I was in the mirror, we had the big hair back then. I was all combing my hair, and she was like, Kim, oh, you look all, are you okay? You're going to throw up? And I was like, no. And she's like, are you okay? Like, I was like, yes, I'm fine. And I almost said her name. I don't want to say her name, but she just kept making remarks like that. And she goes, I think you're too drunk to drink. We need to get you a ride from that too drunk taxi, or I can't remember what the name of it was. And I was like, what? No. I said, I'm tired. I want to go, okay? Are you going to go with that guy, or you want me to take you somewhere, or what? And she was like, well, I think we need to get you a ride home. I was like, no, we don't. And I thought she had my keys, and this person was very manipulative. I had been through so many weird, just stupid scenarios with her, and I was getting really tired of the situations with her. And this time I was like, I think when I was standing there in the bathroom, I was like, this is it. I'm done with this. I'm not going through any more of her crazy stuff. She would try to do things like that. I was like, this is just the end of our friendship, I thought. And so I started reaching. I told her to give me my keys, and she didn't. Well, she didn't have them, but she acted like she just kept trying to, oh, Kim, you need to go in that taxi or whatever it was. And I started digging around in her pockets. I was grabbing her pockets, trying to get it. And then she grabbed both my arms. She's much bigger than me. She was about 5'9", I think. And I was about 5'1", and she was much bigger than me. And she pinned both my arms. And she was like holding me back. And I was struggling with her, fighting, trying to get my keys, thinking they were still in her pocket. But she had given them to that guy. My car keys to a total stranger she just met that night. And so we started fighting and rolling around, or she pushed me down backwards, pinned me on the floor. She was much bigger than me, and that was a bathroom floor in a club, and it was wet and sticky and gross. And I started getting really mad because we had the big old hair, and it started getting in my hair. I was like, oh, I started slapping her and punching her and everything. And she was much bigger, and she's, Kim, why are you hitting me? I was like, get off me, give me my keys. You're too drunk. She kept saying, you're drunk. See how you're acting? I was like, I'm not drunk. I got real mad. And then, she was really holding me back, really, using all her strength. And I couldn't really overpower her, so I just took off my shoe and I nailed her in the nose right there with a high heel shoe. Got up, ran away, and I went and told the bouncer. And I told him what was happening. I said, I'm not drunk. I said, I've had half a beer or drink or whatever it was. And that was like, I don't remember, like 2 hours ago. And then she came out and she started telling him, trying to convince him that I was too drunk. I was like, no, I'm not. I said, give me any kind of breathalyzer test. I told him, do you have a breathalyzer? I don't know. Some clubs have the breathalyzer test, but he's like, no, we don't do that. And I told him, well, she stole my keys, and I want the keys to my car back. And she just kept going on and on about me being drunk. I said, no, I don't. No, I'm not. I barely drank, any alcohol tonight. And then the guy that she was with, he came over and he started standing there, and he didn't really say anything. He was kind of like standing beside her, but not really doing anything. And I said, I want my keys back. I want my keys back. I kept telling her. And so the bouncer told her, you need to give her her keys back. And she goes, no, she's too drunk. No, she's not driving. I was like, yes, I am. And then I just told the bouncer, I said, call the cops. And he goes, well, he handed me the phone, so I called the cops. I think I did call the cops. Maybe he did. I can't remember. But the cops came, and by that time the club was almost closing down. And there was a bunch of arguing back and forth with her, and then I said, that's my car. She's stealing my car. I want her arrested. I want, something done. I don't want her leaving with my car. That car's registered. It's in my name. She can't drive my car. And then the cop looked at her and he said, don't I know you from somewhere? And she just kept arguing, being really belligerent, and they kind of were trying to handle her or something like that. I can't remember really how it all started, but we ended up in the parking lot because of her. I think she was not really fighting with them, but like that cop recognized her, and he goes, you're that girl from the pool party that I arrested last week. Remember? I know who you are. Like that. And she started to run. And they took off after her and they caught her, immediately caught her. And it was 2 cops. And they put her arms behind her back like that. And he lifted her up and he threw her on top of the car. Or somebody's car. I don't even know whose car it was. She was fighting and kicking and everything by that time. And threw her on the car. She had a mini skirt on. She didn't have any underwear on. And subsequently, she got arrested for, I don't know, fighting the cops or whatever you call it, or disturbing the peace. I don't know what, but eventually, excuse me, my things. The guy there, he saw what happened, and he was just standing in the background. He really wasn't saying anything. And then they searched her pockets, and my keys weren't in the pockets. And then he was just standing there. I said, do you have my keys? I started yelling at him, and he was like, he kind of got scared, and he looked around in his pockets and just pulled them out. He didn't say anything. He just gave them to the cop. And I got my keys back, and then I went home, went to bed. The next morning I woke up, and this person's stepmother called me like about 8 o'clock in the morning, and the first thing she said is, are you alright, Kim? I understand you were real drunk last night. And I was like, what? No. And I said, did I get arrested? They arrested her because she was stinking drunk, not me. And I mean, the idea that she could manipulate one person to help her steal a car so she could drive around, use it for her own car, and then to tell, after she gets arrested, to tell her step-parent, her dad and stepmom, that I was all drunk, and somehow turn it around to where just the whole thing was just ridiculous. I mean, the way that how she could manipulate that many people, and this happened frequently. And that was the last time that I really had anything to do with her, except actually it was just a few years ago. Something did happen, and it was an incident where I had to talk on the phone to her for just a few minutes, and not by my doing. It was other people that were, I don't want to tell the whole story, but she started yelling at me over the phone, saying, why are you yelling at me, Kim? Why are you doing this? Why are you saying this? And I was just on the phone, not saying one word, just listening to her put on a show for her husband that was in the room with her while she was talking on the phone with me. And I was not saying one word. And this is the way that this person operated her entire life, the whole time I knew her. And I hadn't seen this person probably for about 20 years, maybe not, maybe 10 years. We had gone to a funeral of somebody we had in common. And I just remember that night so clearly, just fighting in the bathroom and her getting arrested and the cop telling her, didn't I arrest you before last week or something? Throwing her on the hood with all her glory shining. And the guy just standing there. Well, she had previously posed for a nudie mag. I don't know how to say this on YouTube. A magazine with pictures where you don't have your clothes on. I'm trying to say it the YouTube way. And it got published. she ended up marrying that guy, and that guy didn't know about those pictures. And her family, her new in-laws, didn't know anything about it. And then they found out, and then she had done manipulative things, and she ended up being divorced by him, and because of these sociopathic tendencies that she has. And so that's one of the sociopaths in my life that I had dealt with. And it was every time that I had to deal with that person, there was always some, oh, it was just some, I don't know how people with that kind of brain how they function, how they can go through life constantly manipulating people and getting into these drama scenarios because of what they do themselves. I don't know how somebody can live their life like that all the time. But that was just one of the stories of the fiascos, I don't know what to call it, dramas or drama or fiascos that I had with this person. Okay, that's just another story time I had. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe.